the Custard TV podcast, the one place on the web where I remove a hernia like that at the start, and then we move on and we talk about TV news, reviews and previews. And Gary is older than he was last time because he had a birthday. In the words of Stevie Wonder, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
And you don't have to pay anymore when you sing that. It's alright.
Do I not?
Oh no,
you're thinking of the traditional happy birthday.
Yeah, you've got to pay Stevie Wonder, obviously, but don't worry, you won't notice.
I've still got his bank account details from when you did Superstition.
Oh,
so I'll do the transfer.
I thought you were going to say you still got your sunglasses.
No, he needs them. They're his eyes. It's nice to... can I just say, Gary's tweet on the 19th of October says the following. Today, I bought a fridge magnet, new toothbrush heads, pans, cutlery, and a neon front door sign, and a foot diary.
No.
What's a foot diary?
You got that the wrong way round. It actually was supposed to be a fridge magnet foot diary, and it should have been fridge magnet food diary.
But,
it's like an A3 fridge magnet where you can write down what you're going to have for dinner each week.
Well, what's a foot diary?
It's a misspelling. It should have been food diary.
Isn't a food diary what people use when they're on like a diet?
I suppose I should have put food planner rather than food diary, but it's got days of the week on it, so that I can write down what.
So it's just like your menus.
Yeah, because one of the things that was useful in hospital was knowing what I was going to have for dinner each day. So I just thought maybe that is
very useful, isn't it? Yeah, very useful.
I just thought it'd be
like to plan it. No, I'm with you, Gary. Yeah, it's good to plan ahead.
Yeah.
What's the neon front door sign as well?
Because I live in a converted garage that's been turned into a house, I don't have a door sign outside that says what my door number is. So at the moment, I've got a bit of plastic sticking on the inside of my window out that says the door number. Well, now that I've been here for 3 years, I thought, no, I'll splash out and get yourself a little plaque.
Is it just me, or do you think you're not legally allowed to live there? I don't know whether he's legally allowed to be there.
You've got a phone call?
Yeah, I've got a phone call. I'm just going to go silent to take it, if you bear with me.
He's going to go silent. I love that.
Going rogue.
What does he mean? He lives in a converted garage. There's so much to go.
You missed this. We were talking about this. He lives next door to his landlord who converted his old garage into a house.
Is it legal?
I don't know.
Luke.
Hey, everybody, here's our star.
Gary.
I'd never heard of him before today.
And Matt.
He's a professional.
Talking telly.
Try it, just for 1 week. Just try the program for 1 week.
This is the Custard TV podcast.
Oh, he's back.
Gary, can you explain to Luke your living arrangements? Because he's a bit worried.
The house I live in was built by my landlord on top of where his garage was. So where his garage was, he's built a house. He's a builder.
It doesn't sound legal.
Yeah, it's like a granny house. It's like an extension. He got planning permission.
Or a Gary house.
No, it's a Gary. Oh, I was going to do that one. It's a Gary house.
He also built
a Gary flat.
He also built the flats next door to where I live, the other side.
So if you were living on the side of his house, it would be a Gary annex.
Yeah, moving on.
This is
a Gary flat, surely.
Can we just do this the whole time? I like
Gary
this. Do you know what front door number you would be, though, Gary?
Yeah, I'm not giving it out on the air, but I do know.
No, but you don't know what street you live on, so it's like what number you are.
Is London such a small hamlet?
What number? Come on, Gary, what's your number?
I'm 20A.
Does that mean he's 20 and so you're 20A?
Yeah.
TV, come on.
Yeah. Deutschland 83, which was on earlier this year, that will be coming back as a new series of Deutschland 86 on Channel 4 or Walter Presents or wherever the devil they want to put it. ITV have renewed Cold Feet for a 7th series. That's 8 more episodes in 2017. Slight return to form this week after some dull episode. Well, not dull, but just a bit lifeless.
I don't know. I've enjoyed this series. Apart from, I think it was episode 5 we both were a bit down on.
Yeah.
But this week's one.
It was just, I can't forgive them
good
for
to have
Robert
James
Webb.
Nesbitt in the lead, and as you said on Twitter, Leanne Best as well was quite good in. in this episode.
I'd forgotten that she was in the most recent series, Line of Duty,
And she was also in that Undercover as well.
Yeah, and Home Fries, apparently. And now, Gary heads the West Way.
On the other side, AMC have renewed The Walking Dead for Series 8. That's even before Series 7 has been shown, with its big spoiler of who's going to be killed. And also, if you're a fan like me of the television series Bosch, then Amazon have already renewed this for Series 4, again, before Series 3 is even shown. So they're committing early to this show. Have either of you seen the film called Frequency, which starred Dennis Quaid?
I'm aware of it, but not seen it.
Aware of it. Okay, the basic premise was that Dennis Quaid was able to speak to his father via a CB radio. So what happened was that they've taken that and turned it into a television show. And basically, the basic premise is that this detective, Raimi Sullivan, played by Peyton List, who you may have seen had bit parts in other shows. She's not a featured actress, but you'll probably recognise her as someone that's been in a lot of bit parts.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, she's quite attractive, so you've probably seen her. And
I'm going to look her up now.
The only other person of note in the television programme that I've ever heard of is Mackay
Barry, she's
Pfeiffer.
18.
What? Well, she's not allowed to be
What's
attractive
going
at 18.
on? God.
No, she was born in 1986. That makes her 20.
I'm looking at the wrong one then, if you're saying Peyton List.
No, she was born in August 1986 in Boston.
I'm looking at the wrong one then.
You're looking at the wrong one.
There can't be two Peyton Lists. It's such a peculiar name in the first place.
She was in 90210 the remake and Mad Men and the Tomorrow People.
No, there are two Peyton Lists.
Well,
that's unbelievable.
Just incredible. Maybe somebody should make a list of Peyton Lists.
We've just done it.
We've just done it. There you are. Basically, this detective, she makes contact with her dead father. Her father was killed supposedly on turning into a bad cop. You know, he was taking money. It turns out in the first episode that she's able to work out that he was undercover because he's talking to her via this CB radio. And via the course of the first episode, he manages to avoid death. Now, what this does is completely mess up your timeline, you know, Back to the Future and all that. And in the new timeline, she no longer has her mother alive. She was killed by the serial killer that her father was trying to find. And she is no longer with her boyfriend, which leads to a wonderfully hilarious scene where she goes and meets her boyfriend and her parents for dinner, and they have got no idea who she is. The show's not bad. As a pilot, obviously, pilots in America are made to be picked up. They're made in such a way to grab you and may not be indicative of how the series is. It's being released each week on Netflix, similar to Designated Survivor, so you can get a new episode every Thursday. There's already about 3 on there now, or 2, I think. I recommend it if you enjoyed the film.
3 is about 2, and 2 is about
3. It's roughly 2. Yeah, I missed that part of the research, and I highly recommend this too much. If you like a bit of sci-fi, if you like a bit of this type of show, I recommend it. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Obviously, the rest of the series is set up in a way in which perhaps she's going to try and save her mother from the same fate. But I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. Maybe through instructing her father 20 years past and things like that, she'll be able to help him catch the serial killer before he kills her mum. That's, I think, where the series is going. Have either of you been able to watch any episodes of the new US sitcom on E4 called Blackish?
Well, if you listened last week, Luke said he'd seen it already.
Oh, has he? Okay. I've watched 3 episodes and now decided not to record any more.
Okay, well, fair enough that you watched 3. How many Goldbergs did you get through?
Probably about a week or two's worth. Probably about 7 episodes, I'd say. Before I decided it wasn't. I think just the premise of the show is that basically this guy believes that he is no longer fulfilling his role as the father of a black family. His children are very middle class.
Anthony Anderson, isn't it?
That's right.
Kangaroo
yeah.
Jack fame.
Yeah, and he himself is now.
About time we mentioned that on the podcast. By the
Kangaroo
way,
Jack.
We need to do a whole podcast on the career of Jerry O'Connell. That's what we need to do.
That Stand By Me and that Scream film he was in.
Yes, those 3 things.
be a long episode. He's made the senior vice president of urban development in his office. He feels that that's a rather derogatory role because urban is kind of like, the sort of the same word for black. And the whole series kind of revolves around him trying to instill a African-American ethos into his family. I think the best thing about the show is the dad, played by Lawrence Fishburne.
He's very good, actually.
He has a wonderful dry sense of humour and manages to be critical and funny in the same sentence, which I think is hard to pull off. And I didn't find the relationship between him and his wife at all believable.
I disagree
which
there,
is,
but
no, I didn't. I didn't enjoy it. I think as well. I think it's very hard. I think I'm going to be controversial here.
Ooh,
no, I'm not.
Gary.
No, I'm not going to be controversial. This is aimed at a certain market, and I'm not in that market.
Luke, are you in that
So,
market?
what market would it be, Gary?
People called Gary.
Gary's gone dark again.
Maybe not the best
choice of
phrase to use in this situation.
Oh, I just
Oh God!
I don't feel like I related to anything that any of the
He's
comedy.
gone-
that
That's
was
fair
going on.
enough. That's fair enough. I think if you're
He's gone.
Luke,
He's
did
gone
you
dark.
enjoy it?
He's
Gone
gone
dark.
dark.
Luke, this was your pick of the week last week.
It was my pick of the week. I just wanted to point people out to it because again, we don't do the sort of comedy that asks awkward questions and points the camera at different sides of the world. But I did enjoy it. And we don't do comedy like it, unfortunately.
I mean, it does link a little bit into Insecure as well, doesn't it? Which was on Sky Atlantic last week, which I did see.
I did
'cause
enjoy
again,
Insecure, but the language spoiled it for me, and that's the HBO effect,
Because what Gary was saying about the Anthony Anderson character there being sort of in head of urban relations, it's similar to one of the characters in Insecure, where she's is it like a non-profit organisation? I can't remember the name of it. Who's meant to sort of like look after inner city kids, and they look to her because she's the only black woman who works there. And that to me was the best bit of Insecure, was those scenes where she was at work and things like that. I think other bits,
it
as
felt
you say,
more natural there, and the other bits weren't so natural for me.
well, as you say about the language, if you look at the episode titles, they're all quite X-rated.
Yes, yeah, and it puts somebody like me, who's apparently a massive prude, off of things like that. But I did enjoy Blackish, and having lived in the States, which is something I mention every week on the podcast, if you've drunk, if you use that as a drinking game, you'll be blooded by now. But I do think ABC particularly, which used to be a very family-safe place for comedy, didn't take any risks. They are doing a lot of different things. Fresh Off the Boat is about a Chinese family. You'd never seen that a few years ago when I was living there. Blackish is very similar, except not a Chinese
What
family.
network is Speechless on?
ABC.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
we've
There's another one.
got some different comedies, and I don't think we do anything to the same degree. If you look at our comedies, the only ethnic comedy we have is Citizen Khan, which I'm deeply offended and ashamed by. And,
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I mean, there were a few on like BBC Three, aren't there? I think they do.
I suppose you could say a packet of crisps and a pint of lager was slightly like that.
No,
Slightly.
What
because
ethnic?
it had northern people in it.
That's an ethnicity, sort of, northerners.
But
What
yeah,
about that one with Jasper Carrot and Mira Sayal years ago? That was
Okay, let's just stop now.
Was that the Thin Blue Line, wasn't it?
No, it's called
Oh,
All
God.
About Me. Oh God,
got that one out.
cut that out. Yeah.
I know what I want to start with because I'm really intrigued about what Gary thinks about
See,
it.
can I just say, before we get going, I've been listening to the podcast of late because I have to edit the damn things, right? And what the review section has turned into is Matt asking Gary questions.
Because we have conversations
I
during
know,
the week.
but people don't know that.
Maybe you two shouldn't have the conversations, and they
Yeah,
should
people
have
don't. Yes,
Me and you have very similar opinions, whereas Gary is completely.
I know, but people don't know my opinion. They don't listen into
But
those
they
conversations
don't
that we have.
care.
It's the
Okay.
same as Matt. Don't worry about it.
Ordinary Lies
Yeah.
was back. I remember when we reviewed the first episode of the first series, and you hated